Hello and welcome. My name is Andre and this is Osteo Knits. This is a knitting, fiber, whatever YouTube channel where I talk about whatever crafty things I've gotten into. Sometimes I talk about books, also some random chat. I am a university professor where I teach forensic science and human osteology. That's why I've got my friends behind me. Because of my job. Also, it is the end of term. Today is actually the last official day of term. So things are crazy. I am up to my eyeballs in grading, but very much looking forward to that being done and for the summer term to begin. With the summer term comes a lot more flexibility, so that will be really nice. It's been a weird and difficult year, so I definitely need a break. And I keep saying this every year, but maybe this year I'll stick to it. Maybe this year I will actually take my vacation time. We'll see. Anyways. Regardless, I am going to carve out crafting time because that is what keeps me alive and keeps me moving. So despite my hiatus, if you noticed, I have been crafting and I do have some things to show. I don't feel like it's that much, but I think in part of it, it's because my finished objects are samples, one of which is no longer in my hands, but I have made a lot of progress on whips and I have some that are close to being finished. So that is really encouraging, especially given that I really do want to get some of these whips off of the needles. It is, despite the fact that it is a rainy day today here in Sudbury, Ontario, it is finally starting to feel like spring. We had a massive snowstorm and it was just something else. There is still some snow melting in like corners here and there, but I'm wearing sandals. I didn't have to wear a coat today. It finally feels like spring, which spring always feels like sort of a fresh start. I've been going through my yarn stash lately, kind of just rotating things, airing stuff out because it is in like this little corner of my house that's also my office. It does get a little musty smelling sometimes, so I've been airing stuff out, moving things around, rediscovering things I forgot about. So I'm trying to make kind of project plans for things, and I'm definitely inspired to work with my stash again. Not that I don't normally, but yeah. Anyways, fresh things, fresh plans. I have some things brewing that not ready to reveal just yet, but I am planning a little make-along over the summer. I'll be posting details on my Instagram and should hopefully have a video up in the next few weeks. Anyways, I'm excited and I hope that other people will be excited too. So the finished things are two samples. One I don't have with me. That was the Winona Polo by Emily Chen, which I knit for Krista of the Frosted Stitch. The Frosted Stitch is a local yarn dyer, and I actually did my undergrad degree right here at the same university with Krista, so that's how I know her. We reconnected and work together a lot. So Winona Polo was knit for Knit City, where she debuted her Blue Jays inspired yarn collection. Which is called Lights Up, Let's Go. But beautiful array of blues, especially, as well as red, white, etc. Really, really good. Variegated as well. But the Winona Polo featured solid or tonal colors. She gave me a free choice as to how I wanted to stripe things, and I had a lot of fun with it, especially on the sleeves. I tried to go for sort of like a sporty sock stripey pattern, and yeah. It is a great way to use up if you have a bunch of random tonal colors. I had one color that I used 2 skeins of, but all of the others were single skeins. I'll pop a picture again, but I used black for the cuffs and the collar. The collar is double knit, and actually I went off pattern for this, but the bottom hem of the sweater and the cuffs were also double knit. In the pattern, they have you knit the cuffs like sideways. I didn't do that. I just continued, but did it double knit. And for the bottom hem of the sweater, it is, I believe, knit in stockinette and folded over and seamed. I didn't do that. I did it double knit and just let it go. I tried to kind of get like the cuffs to echo the collar. That was my reasoning there. Anyways, it looks great on Krista. Super happy with how it turned out. Great pattern. Other sample I have for her, which I have not handed off just yet, is this beautiful cowl. This is the Owl Nouveau cowl by Mary Hunt. It is knit in DK weight. The colors here are Underworld, so that's the blue, and the sort of heathered background color is Hoarfrost. As with every one of Mary Hunt's beautiful colorwork patterns, it is quite elaborate, but very fun. Fairly easy to follow along, really. The same pattern repeats 3 times around. And it is kind of forgiving if you make a little mistake here and there. Not super, super obvious. But yes, so I'll be handing this off to Krista soon, whenever I do see her. I've also, of course, been spinning. I have a little tiny mini skein here that was spun up on my supported spindle. This is made from roll eggs that came from the Fiber Goddess winter solstice box. I have notes here because it has been a while since I made it. So I have 92 yards of this. Really just needed to test out. I had ordered 2 spindles and I wanted to test them out. There is some sparkle in there. Really beautiful blue tones. Yeah, just a 2-ply. This here is a spin I did on my Turkish spindle. It was my first time attempting a ply on the fly. So on a Turkish spindle, when you do, well, I guess on any spindle, when you do ply on the fly, you basically spin in 2 stages. At first you would spin your single as usual, and then you'll take that single and ply it. In this case, it was a chain ply. And then wrap that up, continue spinning a single, chain ply that again, and on and on. So it was a learning process. Initially, I was really annoyed and I felt like it was just really clunky and cumbersome. But towards the end, I really enjoyed basically having a finished product right away. And I used this gradient braid from Chaotic Fibers that I got in that mystery box that just continues to give. And this is the end result. So pretty pleased with it. I feel like this is blowing out a little. Here. There we go. Very happy with my consistency on this. It preserved the colors quite well, which I think was a good way to use this braid. All right. I also did a spin that I've been nicknaming Northern Lights. At least that was the vibe I was going for. This was spun out of 2 different bats from Art by Anna. I spun them both on my e-spinner and then plied them together. Here's the big Mondo hank from this. What did I get out of it? There's 535 yards in this. So the one ply is mostly like that dark blue with some glitter in it. And then the other ply was these pinks and yellows. There's also some blue in it, but yeah. I had some extra of the navy blue ply, so that's just the leftovers 2-plied on itself. So you can see how much of that color is coming from the second bat. And finally, I have finished my first of the Longway Homestead Breed Study fiber subscription that I've got. I subscribed for this, I think, in December. So I'm finally done the first fiber sample, which was Clun Forest. Here it is. So it is the natural color. I spun this on my Ashford Kiwi and it wanted to go really thin. It is roving and it is like, I don't know if it's quite pencil roving, but it is fairly thin strips. So it wanted to spin really thin. So I decided to go with at least my interpretation of a long draw. I can't say that I'm particularly experienced with long draw, so I'm practicing on this because I wanted to give like a nice kind of fluffy yarn out of this fiber. So once that was all spun up, I chain plied it, and this is what I've got, which I'm pretty happy with. I wanted to get kind of a worsted weight, and I think I'm pretty close to that. I'm hoping to get most of these from the subscription at a fairly similar weight so that I can use them together in a project. So I've started the next one. The next one is Corriedale. Corriedale I've spun before. Clun Forest I'd never even heard of, but it was very springy. It was also very tacky, so it probably had a lot of lanolin in it or leftover bits of lanolin. But not a bad spin. The Corriedale is a lot more, I don't know, there's more like thickness to it, I feel. Technical terms. Anyways. I, of course, have other spins close to being done. I have a spin I did on supported spindles where I've now done the 2 plies. I just need to finish what I'm doing on my e-spinner so I can ply those 2 together. Probably to be seen at a later date. Okay. I have some things that I had been working on. One of them was my moving forward shawl. So this is a pattern by Denise Byron that I am knitting out of a frosted stitch winter advent box. It's getting quite big now. So I got a couple of extra stripes in lately. This pattern is written for all one color, but I had seen somebody on the Ravelry project pages that used minis and did a different color for every stripe. That was a bit much for me. So I am using the full skein for all of these garter sections, and for all of the alternating ones I'm using the minis from the box and using sort of a kind of a rainbow-ish pattern. So I only have a few of the mini skeins left. They're mostly in like darker and green shades. Yeah. So that's getting close to being done. It's also really fun knit. I think partly like changing colors for each stripe keeps it interesting, and you kind of want to just get to the next color. And I say that I haven't been working on this lately, but it is something that I made progress on. What I've been working on lately has been the work socks that I started for my partner. I of course left the other sock at home, but this is the second sock. It is DK weight. It is a kit from Timber Yarns. The Timber Yarns normally does self-striping, but this is a marled kind of work sock type kit. Not really using a pattern for this. I just went 2x2 rib for the top, decided when I wanted a stripe in, and it is 3x1 rib on the sock itself. And I also did sort of a similar stripe pattern on the toe. And the heel is a heel flap gusset that I also did in white, just to use that color up. I really, really like this yarn, the marled one. This color is called Aruba. It's this nice kind of tealy blue. I think it's a 4-ply, and there's 2 black plies and 2 dyed blue plies. Yeah. My partner wears his hand knit socks all the time, like to the point that I have to mend them. I think I've mended 3 pairs of his socks so far. So I'm trying to add more socks in the rotation so I don't have to mend them quite as often. Other thing that I've been working on has been my Who Ya Gonna shawl. So this was a mystery knit along by Lyrical Knits a couple of years ago. I have the other half of the shawl. I'm not gonna pull that out, but half of it is done. This is the second half. This is the end I'm working on now. So there were 6 clues to this mystery knit along. I'm now on clue 6. I'm on the before last section for this end. So there will be another section that closes this end off. And then I need to go back here to where the live stitches, pick those up, pick up stitches there, and there will be a band knit that will join the other section. So I'm getting very close to finishing this. All of the colors I have used here are from the Frosted Stitch. The colors are Isolation, Ectomobile 1. This one here is Lore, and this bright green is Ghostbusters. So you see why I had to use these colors for a Ghostbusters themed shawl. And despite the fact that I have been trying to finish some whips, as I was going through my stash, I came across a skein of yarn from Ancient Arts that was just begging to be cast on. I think the color is called Syrah. This nice, like bright red, some sort of darker tones in there. It is their Revival base, which has mohair and I think silk in it. Anyways, I wanted it to be a single skein project, so I went looking for like a simple little kind of scarf shawlette type thing, and I found the Mara shawl by Audrey Barrico. And so basically the premise of this is you start from one corner, continue to increase until you either get to the halfway point of your yarn, or you just decide you're done, and then decrease until you get to the point again. So here it is. I am on the decrease section. Oh, it's not doing the color justice here. The color outside has changed there a little bit. Anyways, beautiful red color. This nice little light shawlette scarf thingy. I like the texture of it. You've got the little eyelets, you've got some garter, you've got some rib. It's very interesting to do without being overly complicated. So this has been my reading knit lately. And like for a little while, I was just doing one repeat a day. I've been doing a little bit more of it recently, but it's really fun knit. And it's a free pattern. So if you want like a little shawlette, highly recommend that. And finally, I have my ongoing lockdown blanket, which is inspired by the books that I'm reading. I believe the last time I showed this, I had just finished Searching for Terry Punch-Out, but I had not made the hexie yet. So that's Searching for Terry Punch-Out. Then read the final Canada Reads book, which was my favorite, which did end up winning, The Cure for Drowning, which really, really loved it. Beautiful book. Yeah, read it. It's so good. After that, I read Final Girl Support Group by Grady Hendrix, which was like a really fun light read. I mean, maybe my definition of a light read is different from others, but anyways, that is this one. And then this was a nonfiction book called Mummified. I am having to get creative with some of my colors now because I have now run out of solid white and I have run out of the red I normally use. So, yeah. I'm going close as I can. It's a scrappy blanket. Like, it is what it is. I'm not going to break out new skeins just to get the right shade of color. Close enough is good enough. And yeah, there's a ridiculous amount of ends. At some point I lost my notions bag, which I have no idea where it is. I've looked everywhere. I'm hoping it'll turn out in some weird spot. But along with that were my darning needles. I have ordered some, but I did not pay attention to the delivery window. So yeah, it's not here yet. So that's my excuse for not sewing in ends. It has nothing to do with the fact that I don't like sewing in ends. Anyways, I love all these colors together. I love that it's, you know, a documentary of all of the books I've read over the last 2 years. 2 years? Yeah. Like, I look at it and I know which book is represented. It's fun. I like it. And using up scraps. Okay. Yeah. So for this week, I'm going to continue to work on the Mara shawl, the Huygens shawl, and the work socks. But I am hoping to finish at least one of these. That would be really nice. I switch it up because I get bored with things easily. Okay. And I think for the month of May, especially since I want to take things easy for the month of May, I say that. I feel like I'm tempting the universe. Anyways, for the month of May, I want to work on kind of some larger projects. I am going to finally revisit my Osteo cardigan. Like, it is ridiculous that I'm still working on this thing. This is the Osteo cardigan by Andrea Mari. I'm on the second sleeve. I do still have the button placket and many ends to deal with, but that's what's left. I would be so happy if I could just finish the sleeve. Also, because this is not an easy brainless knit, like I have to keep track of when to change stripes, when to decrease, and like it's half fisherman's rib in the round, which means you're either straight purling or you're doing the half fisherman's rib pattern. So I need a brainlessness as well. I'm hoping I won't hate myself with this choice, but I'm bringing back out my love note. I'm hoping that I'm bringing this out before it gets too hot to work with mohair. We'll see. But because this is just straight stockinette in the round, I'm on the first sleeve of this one. I finished the body. It's just straight knitting. I'm counting my rows so I can hopefully make the second sleeve the same length. So it's easy brainless knitting to do while I'm reading or whatever. Yeah, those are the plans. I've been really good for not buying yarn. I have not brought my fiber subscriptions. I have been receiving monthly my Long Way Homestead fiber breed study. I have a bit of a backlog of Frosted Stitch monthly clubs. So We had in March, Leprechaun. Oh, that's such a good green. I love that green. In April, it was Loch Ness. Let's get the stitch marker here. Like greens and blues and purples. Getting a sneak peek of May. I don't have the stitch marker for this one yet, but May is Tasmanian Devil. So nice kind of earthy tones. Again, this year I'm doing the club on DK because I do have an absurd amount of sock weight yarn. So that's all I have for purchases. That may change by next time of recording. This weekend, I'm going to the Sunshine Fiber Fest in Aurelia. I've never been to this fiber festival before, so very much looking forward to seeing how it is. It does look a lot more fiber focused as opposed to yarn focused. I'm sure I will bring home things. That's kind of a given, but yeah, looking forward to seeing how that will go. I always like to have a little trip at the end of the term, and it helps me sort of reset mentally, even if I'm not done all of my grading. But yeah, nice little break. So I'll come back and then grade all of my exams. But yes, so as I've hinted, I'm not going to get into specifics, but I am planning a make-along for the summer. It's not going to start until June, but I will start putting out some information here and on Instagram. It'll be very flexible and loosey-goosey, but I hope it'll be a lot of fun. I really enjoy doing the 12 days of whips, so I'm going into this with a similar energy. Yeah. I really don't like having these hiatuses like this, but unfortunately, so much of it is just like life has other plans. It's not even like anything major, but more often than not, it's like the days I plan on recording, I'm all set, and then I get stuck in meetings all day, or I'm sick, or I have a migraine, or I'm just in a bad mood. So yeah, maybe I should just like not even commit to doing something on a monthly basis, but periodical updates. Yeah. Anyways, that's an update on what I've been up to. Very much looking forward to revealing more about what I've got planned. I hope other people are into it. I'm geeking out over it, so hey, whatever. It's been my little procrastination project. I really want to get some stuff done, want to finish off these whips, work with my stash, and just feel some lightness by reducing the clutter around me, right? Hopefully I'm not alone in that sentiment. Oh yeah, I talked a little bit about books I read in the blanket, current reads. My nonfiction read is Madame Restel, which is about a woman in the 1800s who was providing birth control pills and abortions. Very interesting read right now. And my fiction read is Circe by, is it Madeline Miller? This book came out like ages ago, and like so many people have read it. It's kind of a imagined story of the life of Circe, who is she a goddess in like the Greek pantheon of, yeah. Anyways, it's fun. It's a light read. It's, you know, Always love reading about independent women. Apparently that's my theme there right now. We've got Madame de Staël in the nonfiction and then Cersei in the fiction. Yeah. For once, I'm not reading about death. It's probably going to change. Yeah, actually, I probably will. Anyways, it's fun to read stuff like this, especially when I need breaks from grading. Yeah. I hope you enjoyed a catch up. I hope you're doing well and working through things at whatever pace you need to. I'm really looking forward to giving you updates on what I've got planned. So stay tuned. It'll be coming out in the next few weeks and we'll get into this summer. Wishing you the best. I hope that the spring energy is helping you feel a little refreshed after a very long, very heavy winter. All right, that's it for me. Take care. Bye-bye.